Hey, what's up, YouTube world? It is your girl here, the Venusian Bull, and I am back with another video in the Planets in the Houses series. And in these series of videos, we are going to be discussing planets in the seventh house. And to be specific, we are going to be discussing Jupiter in the seventh house in this video, which is another one of my placements, which rounds out my stellium in the seventh house. Go back to look at the other videos to see what other planets I have in the seventh house. Okay, so just as a reminder, the seventh house has to deal with relationships of all kinds, partnerships of all kinds, and that includes business partnerships as well as friendships, your close personal friendships like your best friend, and one-on-one relationships, one-on-one relating. It also has to deal with contracts, marriage contracts, business contracts, and things of that nature, as well as open enemies. And I just want to point out, because I don't think I said this in the Mars in the seventh house video, like, you literally could always be attracting people who are competing with you. And this is so important. I may actually take this and copy it into the other video, but this is why y'all should just watch all videos, because I'll be forgetting shit, okay? But if you have Mars in the seventh house, you may always attract people who want to compete with you, and that may be romantic partners or friends. So make sure you're on the lookout for that, because Mars energy is very competitive, okay? So I just had to say that and get that out of the way. All right, also remember that the seventh house is opposite the first house. So while the first house is the energy that you give off, the first impression, your physical appearance, the seventh house has to deal with what you attract, because it is akin to Libra. All right, so just remember that. So having Jupiter in the seventh house is similar to having Jupiter in Libra or having Sagittarius on the seventh house cusp, okay? All right, so let's get into Jupiter in the seventh house, all right? So with Jupiter in the seventh house, you want everything grand. You want everything big, big ideas, big personalities, and someone who can teach you a shit ton of things. You know, you kind of want the philosopher, you want the professor, you want somebody who is, you are attracted to people who know a lot, who see a lot. You know, Jupiter is all about international travel and things like that. So you may attract people who are foreign, who speak a different language than you, who are from a different country, have a different cultural background. And again, what is the planets that are in your seventh house, or what's on your seventh house cusp, is kind of what you need to learn to balance yourself out and stuff like that. So with Jupiter being in the seventh house, you need to attract different types of people, you know what I'm saying, from different cultures, from different walks of life, different backgrounds, so that you can become a more well-rounded person. You know what I'm saying? And Jupiter energy is very, you know, jovial and happy, so you may attract these kind of people. You also may attract the kind of people that are kind of here today, going tomorrow. Remember, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. It's not always the most reliable energy, but it's very fun. And very exciting, and kind of unpredictable, you know what I mean? They're also very adventurous, also very giving, you know, optimistic type of people. But just remember, you may be attracting those people who are kind of full of hot air, who are kind of full of it, make you all of these, you know, grand promises, and they never come through, or they disappear. So just be aware, you know what I'm saying? Jupiter expands, and it's about abundance, but it can also, you know, expand, you know, bullshit, and, you know, promises that are not kept and things like that. So just keep that in mind. You also may attract someone who's very religious, or teaches you about different, like, spiritual, you know, practices and things like that. And you may get more in touch with your spirituality by by having this long-term relationship with this person. This is definitely attracting, you know, the intelligent, more of like the philosopher, kind of the idealist and stuff like that. You may be attracting someone who's very freedom loving, who wants their freedom. So this is not a very clingy person. as well. This is someone who needs their freedom and is also going to teach you about needing your freedom. Jupiter also has to deal with law, more or less like international law and things like that. So you may attract someone who is in the legal field as well, same as Venus in the seventh house. Definitely could attract a teacher, more specifically a professor, someone who has a job where they travel or a career where they travel. And this is very destination wedding energy with Jupiter in the seventh house, because like, I don't want to just get married at home. Let's, do a destination wedding to like the islands or something like that, into Fiji. I'm just putting that out there because that's one of my places that I need to visit, and may have a destination wedding there if that ever happens for me one day. But anyway, yeah, so this is definitely destination wedding energy. This is doing it big or going home, and not just with a wedding, but just in terms of a partner. You have a lot of high expectations and a lot of high standards for your partner. Jupiter is the planet of morality. That doesn't mean that, they don't get down, they don't like to have fun, you know what I'm saying? Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the party animal, okay? But understand, you still kind of are looking for somebody with high standards, like a moral high ground, and things of that nature. So definitely keep that in mind. So with Jupiter in the seventh, it's not really so much about what somebody looks like. It's more about their mind and their higher mind, and what's kind of like with Mercury, but on a broader level. Like, we can talk about, philosophy and different perspectives on things in life and things like that. Jupiter in the seventh house energy, you may attract somebody who wants to adopt children. Maybe you want to adopt children, and things like that. And you may end up wanting to, live somewhere outside of the country that you were born in with your significant other, or partner, and things like that. Also, Jupiter is not that keen on details, so be cognizant when you're dealing with contracts and things of that nature, and that includes business contracts or marriage contracts, because you may just look at the high level of things and not the details, and get put into kind of, shitty situations and things like that. Oh, the most important thing about Jupiter in the seventh house, you could attract somebody with a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? This is like dollar bill, y'all. Okay, you could attract somebody with a lot of money, somebody that comes from money, that somebody who has an abundance of money, and they could have gotten it any kind of way. And you can be kind of lucky in love. You know what I'm saying? You can have you could have a more optimistic outlook on love and relationships as well. But you thrive on relationships, on somebody, teaching you something and literally helping you grow, because Jupiter has to deal with growth. If they're not taking you to a higher level and you got Jupiter in the seventh house, let them asses go. Okay. They need to be bringing you here. Okay, they can't be bringing you down here. You know what I'm saying? And in terms of like a lower vibrational energy of Jupiter in the seventh house, it's just somebody who's just full of hot air, who just talks a lot of shit, makes a lot of promises, and never comes through. You know what I mean? So you need to be aware of when people are, and this could be friends too, when they're giving you all of this and, these pie in the sky dreams, or when they're actually being real. So sometimes it's kind of difficult to see with that Jupiter energy, because it's so jovial, it's so happy, it's so optimistic and friendly and things like that. So sometimes you can kind of see past, the bullshit. You may not always see it. Oh, I forgot. You could also attract someone. I mentioned you could attract somebody who's very religious, but that, they do that for a career. Like, they could be a reverend or a pastor or a minister or something like that. So that's another thing about Jupiter in the seventh house. But just keep in mind that you're mostly attracted to people who are going to help you grow, help you learn, and help you kind of look, at the broader picture of things. You know what I'm saying? You are attracted to people who are not like you, in terms of like not from the same background or the same culture. You want to experience Jupiter rules Sagittarius, so it's all about experiencing the world and different adventures and things like that. So that type of person needs to want to kind of go all around the world with you, you know, literally and figuratively. All right, so that is all I have for Jupiter in the 7th house. Let me know if you have this placement and if this information resonates with you. Again, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.